The first thing which comes in our mind when we think about fluid connective tissue is the blood. Blood contains the presence of RBC, WBC, plasma, platelets, fats, glucose, some amount of proteins, and various minerals within itself. But is blood the only fluid which is present in our body system? Or is there presence of some other body fluids which connect the entire body together? So the answer to this question is yes, there are two more fluids which help in connecting the entire body together. Blood only flows through the arteries, veins, or capillaries. So it is only flowing through the vessel systems which are present in our body. The different vessels, it can be artery, vein, or capillary. But other than these three capillaries, there are various other things which are also present in our body. And through these other parts, or how the other parts they are connected together, it is also with the help of some fluids. And those fluids are known as the tissue fluid and the lymph. The first thing which comes to our mind when we think about tissue fluid is that it must be present in the tissue. What is the tissue? Tissue is aggregation of similar kind of cells together. So in between a group of cells, you have an idea that that will be performing a particular kind of function, but these group of cells, they must be present in a clustered form, and within the cluster or within the group there must be some spaces which may be empty. These empty spaces, when they are filled with some amount of fluid, that fluid is known as the interstitial fluid, because those spaces which are vacant without containing the cells are known as interstitial spaces. So when it gets filled with some fluid, we call it as interstitial fluid, and that interstitial fluid is also known as the tissue fluid. Okay, so the idea of formation of tissue fluid can be very well understood if you can focus on this diagram. You can see that from here, from the initial point, it is a arteriole. So a big artery will be there, which will be bringing very, with very high pressure, some amount of blood. That blood gets bifurcated, or small amount of blood now goes to through the arteriole to the capillaries, because that is how the blood flow occurs. It always moves from big artery to smaller arteries which are called as arterioles. From the arterioles it moves to the capillaries, from capillaries to venules, then veins, and finally it is again getting oxygenated in the lungs. So this is how the movement of body fluid, that is blood, actually takes place in our body. Now when the blood is coming through the arteriole till it reaches the capillaries, at that time, first thing is the structure of capillary is very important. The capillary has just one smooth layer, outer covering, which has presence of endothelial cells, and these endothelial cells are as such that they allow, or they, this entire capillaries, they have spaces for just one RBC getting placed one after another. So the way you can see in this line, this area, just one RBCs they are placed, and there is accumulation of cells in between. So this entire structure is of capillary, and how the exchange is taking place, we will be looking into that. But we have to keep in mind that how is the formation of tissue fluid taking place. We have to think that how is this orange colored area over here getting filled with tissue fluid. It will be getting filled with tissue fluid because the capillaries are formed of several pores. They have presence of some pores over its body, and not only that, there is just presence of one thin layer of endothelial sheet over the form, or over the capillary. So capillary is made up of just one thin layer of tissue, and it is as such that some particles of blood can ooze out because of very high pressure which is coming because from the arteriole. So some of this plasma, or some amount of platelets, some blood vessel, some blood, some RBCs, they ooze out from these pores, and they get accumulated in these vacant areas. these vacant areas, they get filled with this interstitial fluid. And now there is connection of this interstitial fluid with the cells of the body, or the body cells. So body cells, they are exchanging oxygen, right? And as such, they are in close proximity contact with this fluid. So they may supply some of its constituents to the tissue fluid. And how is the tissue fluid getting formed? It is formed because of force which is applied, or with the pressure by which the blood is coming from the arterioles to the capillaries. And since the capillaries have just one thin layer of endothelial cells and some pores are also there, so through the pores some amount of blood content along with proteins, fats, platelets and plasma oozes out, and it is the fluid which is formed, or which is present in the interstitial space, which is also known as the vacant space of the cells. This area has close proximity with lymphatic vessels. So here you will be finding, or you will be able to find the lymphatic vessels. So tissue fluid drains its constituents to the tissue, to the lymphatic vessels. So you can imagine that over here the flow is going on, or the connective, all the tissue fluid is getting forwarded to the lymphatic vessels. I'll just write this is lymphatic vessels. So from the tissue fluid, now it is becoming the lymph. So this is how the transformation exactly occurs. Now let's see the definition of tissue fluid. Tissue fluid that permeates the space between individual cells, that is in osmotic contact with the blood and the lymph, and that serves in interstitial transport of nutrients and waste, is called the tissue fluid. So the function is being mentioned. It is connecting the blood and the lymph. Definitely it is connecting the blood and lymph, because from the capillaries blood is in contact with this tissue fluid, and tissue fluid is itself getting transferred, or it is transferring its content to the lymph. So in this way it is acting as a connecting link between the blood as well as the lymph. And why is it called interstitial fluid? Because it is present in the vacant space of the cells in the capillary area. What is the lymph? Lymph is a straw colored fluid. And how is it formed? That is very important for us. Hemoglobin you all have heard about, and you are aware about the RBC. They have a lifespan of 120 days. What happens after 120 days? They die, and after the death, they form the bilirubin and biliverdin, which are the sole constituents or the main constituents of the lymph. So we'll see it in details after a couple of minutes. Let's see the definition at first. Lymph is a fluid which circulates throughout the body in the lymphatic system. This is important. It forms when tissue fluid or blood plasma, mostly water, proteins and other dissolved substances, drain into the lymphatic system. So that is what is happening. From the tissue fluid, the movement of most of the constituents is taking place in the lymphatic system or lymphatic vessels. From there, these all substances, they are poured in the lymph. It contains a high number of lymphocytes. And what are lymphocytes? Lymphocytes are WBCs, which are very large sized and have presence of large nucleus. They are capable of fighting against any antigen which enters our body. So this is about the lymph and tissue fluid. You should understand the difference between the blood, lymph and tissue fluid. 1 marks questions are most of the times asked for definition of either of it, or if a combination is asked of 3 of these fluids, the question can be of 5 marks. So it is important question, you should learn it properly. This is how the exchange is actually taking place. From the artery, the blood is coming with a very high pressure. Some of the blood is oozing out and is getting filled in the interstitial spaces. This is getting conducted through the lymphatic system. It is getting conducted to the lymphatic system, and finally the constituents of the tissue fluid is getting poured in the lymph glands. Now you can see the entire structure over here. This is quite different from the normal circulatory system structure. This is the lymphatic system. You can see those dots, those are lymphatic glands, the red color dots, and there are few glands which are also helpful in formation of lymph. You can see the thymus gland. It is a very important gland which helps in formation of lymph. Liver is there. Spleen is a very important organ for the lymphatic system. Let me tell you why. Because spleen is known as the graveyard. I have to change the color, just a second. It is known as the graveyard of RBC, the spleen. And RBC has presence of hemoglobin, right? Hem part contains iron. This is replenished back, and it is helped, or it is used for formation of new RBCs after 120 days. I hope everyone is aware that after 120 days the RBCs, they are dead. So after 120 days we see that the RBCs, they have presence of iron part which is replenished for new RBC. What happens to the another protein part, the globin part? The globin part has presence of two parts. One is protein, other, and the other part is the color part or chromogenic part. I'll just write it once again. So I said the RBC has two part, iron, globin is a has protein and chromogenic part. The meaning of chromogenic is color giving part. This protein will break down, and you all are aware that when proteins break down they form amino acids. These are smallest particles. So this is the fate of protein part. What happens to this chromogenic part? It forms bilirubin and biliverdin. Bilirubin and biliverdin are two important color giving substances which are present in the lymph. The lymph is because of the presence of bilirubin and biliverdin. So that's why it is very important that spleen is a very important part for the lymph, and even the RBCs are important. Not the live RBCs, but the dead RBCs. Even the live RBCs are also there, but they are just helping in formation of the tissue fluid, but not exactly the RBCs. The other part of the RBCs, like the platelets or other part of the blood, I should say, the fats, the minerals, some amount of glucose, water, plasma, even the platelets, they all ooze out from the capillaries and they form or they fill the interstitial spaces, and finally they get drained into the lymphatic system. So you can think at times the questions are asked from this portion that how is the color of the lymph straw colored? So it is because of bilirubin and biliverdin. That is important. Spleen is an important organ for lymphatic vessels, or it is a lymph organ. You should also remember 3 to 4 organs which are helpful in formation of lymph: tonsil, thymus, liver, spleen, Peyer's patches in the small intestine, appendix, and bone marrow. These all help in formation of the lymph. So these are very important structures which are to be learned and to be understood and kept in mind. I hope till now everyone is very much clear about 3 different kinds of fluids in our body. What are the 3 fluids? Let's recapitulate. The first is the blood. What is the constituent of blood? First question is, what is the constituent of blood? Second thing, how is tissue fluid formed? Third question is, why is tissue fluid known as interstitial fluid? So second and third question lies over there. Last question is, name the lymph glands. Name the lymph glands. So this is all about the 4 questions which I have asked. I want you all to write the answers and send it in the class group.